Now we review the 2023 film Lee. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. A friend of mine called me up and said, Richard, you like history, right? Yeah, dude, I love history. You know, World War II history, you into that? Yeah, I'm into that. Oh, I got a movie you gotta watch. It's apparently not available in theaters near me, but it is a theater release in England, I guess. Not available in the US, which is the film Lee, which is the biopic of a World War II photographer named Lee Miller. And yeah, right up my alley. I mean, this is my kind of movie. Before I go any further, let me first inform you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, Lee Miller is, yes, I am aware that this thing on my lip. I'm going to put a lantern on it so that's not what we're thinking about the entire review. Lee Miller starts out her life as a model, and as she gets older becomes a photographer. And working for Vogue magazine, she tries to document World War II. She eventually gets over to the front lines of World War II and sees some of the most very upsetting things that happened in World War II. And, you know, one of the things to understand about this story is it being a biopic. It doesn't have the same story beats that might happen in a regular movie. So there's a lot of, well, okay, this is happening. And okay, this is happening. And these things that are happening, these moments, are not necessarily as interconnected. They don't build on each other, but you understand the situation that we're in. And this situation that we're in is brutal, and not necessarily everybody's a good guy. And the treatment of women, particularly French women on camera, is extremely offensive. Okay, just that was what was happening, so it's accurate. But here you have a woman, she is used to being part of the decadent lifestyle of the rich. So she was a model, and as a model, you know, she slept around a lot. And I mean, it's like, you know, there's the scene where she's at this like lunch party and there's just somebody naked showing their boobies. And that's part of this movie, is there's a reasonably large amount of nudity. And then you get the idea that here is a woman who is not prudish. She's sexually liberated. And then she sees the abuse of women in the war. And you can take it from her because she's the kind of chick that, you know, would, like, okay, it's just a good time. That's not a good time. That's abuse. And this is a woman who understands the line better than the rest of us. She's one of those people that she knows the difference between a good time and the difference between abuse. So the brutality towards women she sees, the abuse and ostracization of women in France after the Nazis were pushed out, is one of those things that is forefront for the first act, possibly the first half of this movie. And then the rest of this movie, I mean, there are a lot of very dark, tight shots because I believe there was a limited budget. You don't see a lot of large crowd scenes. You don't see huge numbers of soldiers running around. But one of the things that really spoke to me about this movie is this woman as an artist, as a photographer, trying to express the reality of what happened. I mean, that's one of those things about photography, is that in a way, you're not trying to create the art, you're trying to express the moment. It's kind of the opposite of art in a way, but art is anything that is created by humans. So it is a form of art, but in this particular form of photography, for the most part, her goal is not to, create a moment or create a feeling. It is to capture that feeling and that despair and that pain. And then, there's this moment when her, the artist, doesn't have the outlet. So it's very painful for her because you don't see her photographs. And one of the things about this movie is you don't see enough of her photographs in it. Because there are a lot of really disturbing images that she took, and we don't get to see them. And there's even a moment where she describes one of her photographs in this, very briefly, but it's like, yeah, okay, that would have been a brutal image to put on screen, and we don't get to see it. We are left with this idea that, if you want to know what this woman did, you need to go out there and find it. It's not here in this film. It's out there. And I think there are books of her photography out there. I have not sat down and researched that yet, but I did read up on this, and apparently somebody found a biopic and was like, hey, she looks like Kate Winslet, I think, is the actress who's the main character in here. Her makeup is excellent, by the way. They really age her well. But, this is a film that if it had gone all the way as far as I would have wanted it to go, do understand, my parents fled the Holocaust. This is very personal to me. So I would have preferred a movie that was absolutely brutal to express that brutality. But this is the movie that it does express that these things happen. It tells you of the brutality, and it's not a PG-13 film. It's definitely an R-rated movie. But it expresses that brutality in interesting ways and expresses the human story behind the artist who took these pictures. And that's very powerful. Okay, so where does this film sit on the watch list? If it comes to theaters in America, I definitely think you should see it in theaters in America. And the reason I think it should be seen in theaters is because there are a lot of smaller details. The characters are a little more accurate than they are designed to stand out. That's one of the problems you have with these particular films. And yeah, this is objectively a good movie. It's a difficult movie to watch at times because you see upsetting things, but the upsetting things are toned down. And again, I would have preferred this to be a true art piece movie. It's one of those films that you walk out of disturbed because it's about a disturbing subject. That's not this film. You may be mildly disturbed by what happens in this film, but you won't be extremely disturbed. So yeah, definitely a solid drama. It expresses the human condition. It is an excellent film. So I don't even know if you can get it in America through legal means. I think the copy I had was like German or something that I was provided. But this definitely belongs high in your watch list. I can't call it a must-watch because it just didn't go far enough to be a must-watch. Still an excellent movie. Still a very, very powerful film that, it should definitely be somewhere on your watch list. If you have the opportunity, Lee is an excellent film. It is just absolutely powerful. But that's just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I'm Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Barry, the official Strawberry Poison Dart Frog of Random Street Theater, and I am here to remind you, of course, that for every 1,000 subscribers Random Street Theater gets, they buy one of these bracelets I'm wearing as a necklace. These bracelets are from the company 4Ocean, and for every one of them that's purchased, a pound of trash is removed from the ocean. Why should you care? Because the world is full of trash, and you shouldn't be part of that. We should all take responsibility, do our part for the environment, and make my home much cleaner. In addition, Random Street Theater has paid for more than 100 trees to be planted. Comment, like, and subscribe. Support a better world for you and a better world for me. I'm Barry.